Talking to a camera is innately unnatural. I mean, picture a friend walking into your house, seeing you talk to a remote, but the remote has eyes, ears, and has a tendency to share everything you tell it with other people. In fact, talking to anything that isn't alive, or even human in certain cases, is very unnatural. And from starting content creation at 10 years old, working professionally since I was 16 years old in content production and media production in general, here are 6 things, I think this is the correct amount of fingers, that I would do differently if I were starting off from scratch in order to talk naturally with the camera again. Number 1 being, and you probably saw this in the thumbnail too, do not use a script. When looking around in the content creation space, you will see a lot of content creators telling you to use scripts because it allows you to surgically alter what you say and make sure that you don't provide any fluff, pretty much. And creating scripts can absolutely be a good thing if you have no clue what to say. But if you want to speak in a natural way, creating a script before filming the video and then reading it word by word makes it incredibly hard to be yourself. Because even if you wrote the script and didn't use an AI as an example, you would still not say it in the same way as if you were talking to a friend. Like if you found a cool app that you wanted to show your friend, you wouldn't create a script word by word of what you should tell your friend when you eventually meet with them. It would just naturally come in the flow of the conversation. So if you have an issue with being awkward or unnatural on camera, replacing a script with bullet points can be a very good decision to make. That allows you to still stay on track for the video and not start diving into a bunch of fluff, but still deliver all of your lines like you, because you are actively talking to the camera as a friend. So, a bird just hit my window, bro. What the A bird just hit my window as I was saying that. Anyways, number 2 is looking into the lens while you're talking on camera. What a lot of people do when they record videos, especially if they're nervous being on camera, is they look at the reflection of themselves or the mirror of themselves if they're recording on a phone or a camera with a flip screen, or even if they're sharing their screen to their laptop or whatever, because they want to see what they're actively recording. But what that results in is you looking off camera and looking kind of strange in the process. In a real conversation, of course, you wouldn't sit like this, just staring into the other person's soul for the entirety of the conversation. That would be very strange. But you would also not be talking to somebody like this. Hey, what did you do today? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Where did you buy that necklace, by the way? By putting your eye contact off the lens, it immediately removes a degree of personal connection. You can probably tell so far in this video, my eyes haven't been strictly on the lens at all times. I look away sometimes, like when I think or whatever, but I always try to keep the lens as the main point of eye contact, because that makes it seem as if I'm talking to you and not somebody else. And this leads into the third one, however you want to do a third one, which is talk to the camera like a person. And a lot of people tell you to do this. Not a lot of people tell you how to do this. And honestly, listening to the people who have told me to do this hasn't really worked in the past. A lot of people tell you to look at the camera and talk to the camera as if you're talking to a friend. Like imagine you're talking to a friend. Imagine your friend turned into a camera and is now sitting across you and speaking to you. It doesn't really work that well. My imagination is vivid, of course, but not really to that point. What I like to do instead is I like to talk to the camera as if I am talking directly to you, somebody watching on the other side of the camera. So I'm not acting as if I'm looking into the eyes of another human, but I'm looking at another human watching me, which is basically what's happening anyways. You know, you're watching this video right now. So it's almost like I'm looking in another dimension at the person who's going to be watching this video in the future. And when you make it about the person watching the video rather than the camera itself or about you, you naturally just speak in a much more natural way because you're talking to a person, not a camera or a microphone or yourself. The fourth one is do it a lot. Just like everything in life, repetition is key. If you are the worst tennis player in the world, but you decide that from today to the end of your life, you are going to spend 10 hours a day locked in learning tennis, you are probably going to be a good tennis player in even 1 year. And in 10 years, you will be an expert. You will be an absolute top player of tennis just because you put in so many reps. Like absolutely anything, you can gather as much information about anything as possible, but you will still be beat by the person who didn't gather any information at all and just started doing. So the number one biggest needle mover to becoming better at talking on camera, to becoming more articulate, to anything is repetition, just doing the same thing over and over. And it doesn't necessarily mean filming yourself and uploading it to social media, but if you practice talking a lot to inanimate objects as an example, which might come across as a little weird if somebody's watching you, but nevertheless, you will eventually get better at speaking on camera because you have trained yourself to just continue yapping without any input from the person you're talking to. Number 5 is be your yourself. Even if you think it's cringy to be yourself, even if you are a goofy person in general, goofy in the best sense, of course, by the way, the only way that you can consistently and authentically differentiate yourself from the millions of other people creating content is by being yourself and talking like yourself, having your facial expressions, having your body language, having your unique way of speaking. You know, I speak in a weird way. I have a bit of a Swedish accent, and it's like a few intricate words here and there, but my vocabulary isn't really that developed. Like, just be yourself and don't be afraid to be yourself on camera. And it's obviously easier said than done, but the bottom line is, and this is number 6, we are all going to die. So it's either you forget about being nervous and train yourself to not be scared now, or regret it for the rest of your life. All of your nervosity comes from inside, and it's something that you can completely eliminate. And the number one best way of eliminating it, and in turn becoming better at what you want to get better at, which in this case is being natural on camera, is repetition. But you can also apply the other things that I mentioned in this video. And that's been it. Thank you so much for watching this video. You can subscribe if you want to, but I'm not gonna ask you for it. That was the most random thing, bro. Why did a bird look